everyone, and welcome to my channel and welcome to my kitchen. Today we are going to be working on a recipe, and this is from the Homestyle Amish cookbook. And this cookbook has all kinds of plain Amish recipes in it, and today we're going to be making the Amish Hobo dinner. I went ahead yesterday and I sauteed all the ground beef and I cut up my potatoes. I will be sharing with you the recipe in the description box below if you would like to make this. It's so super duper easy and it's extremely cheap. So if you're on a low income, you can make this as well. It doesn't take anything extra that normally you wouldn't have in your kitchen cupboards. It is 1 pound of hamburger with 1/4 cup of milk, a little salt and pepper, 6 large potatoes peeled and sliced, 2 onions, a 1/4 pound of Velveeta, and we're going to explain that in a minute, and a can of cream of mushroom soup. I'm going to omit the onions, and we also are not going to use a full 1/4 pound of Velveeta, but I do have my own cheese sauce. The Amish love Velveeta cheese, and they make their own cheese whiz. Those of you who are not in the States, it is a cheese processed food. It's actually probably not much cheese in it, but it's a processed food, and I make my own cheese and I can it, which I have a lot of recipes on that. The Amish also can their cheese too. It's Velveeta cheese sauce, so it's not real cheese. I guess there is some milk in it and there is some type of cheese ingredients in it, but people would say it's synthetic and it's processed, but it's really good and we use it in a lot of our recipes. I'm going to read to you a little bit of what was said here in the caption before we get working on the video and on the recipe. The Amish rarely speak English in the home. The young children usually learn English when they begin attending school in the home, or a German or Swiss dialect is spoken. But High German is used at church services, which is also taught at school. As a result, Amish children will not understand much of the service until they reach about the 4th or 5th grade. But the Amish believe first comes discipline, then comes understanding. So my mom and dad, they spoke Pennsylvania Dutch. When they would speak with my grandma and grandpa, I could pretty much understand a lot what they were talking about, because Pennsylvania Dutch is slang. In other words, it's some German with English mixed. If you listen to somebody who is speaking Pennsylvania Dutch, they will say different things. Some will be English words mixed in with German words. The Pennsylvania Dutch is its own language. When they get to church, I could never understand that because that is High German. In other words, High German is there's no English words mixed in mostly, and it's very dry. So when you have the church, it's a very monotone. There is no excitement in their voice. There is no emotion in their face. It's extremely dry. And I will try to share with you if I can. I did a clip on Pennsylvania Dutch many years ago. I'll see if I can find that. But it's a very, very dry way of speaking. So the sermon gets very long, very boring, and a lot of people fall asleep. In a traditional Pennsylvania Dutch home, at the church, the men are on the one side, the women are on the other. That is how I was raised. When we would go to their church and have funerals at the church, the women always were on the one side with the children, and the men were on the other side. There is a reason for that, and the reason is they have it segregated between the male and female to try to keep it more that their focus is on the worship and not on each other. So in other words, if you were dating or you were a young married couple, they thought if they would separate you a little bit, you wouldn't be thinking of each other as much as you would be focusing on the sermon. They sat on hard wooden benches, and the men always had their hats up on a nail on the side where they were, and the women and the children always sat. The men always came in first. They would come into the church and sit down first, and then would follow with I think it was the older women down into the younger women. That is how it was, because the hierarchy was the older Amish man, he was first priority, and it went in the age. So older generations of the Amish are very well taken care of, and they are very well respected. They have dowdy houses, which means that the children will always have a part of the house for the older generation, which is a plus. I am very much for that. I think that is amazing. We had that for my grandma, so we had a little apartment for her joined to my husband's parents' house, and I took care of her until she died. That is just the way I was raised, and I really love that. That the Pennsylvania Dutch, the Germans, they really take care of their elderly, and there's always a woman in the community that would be called a spinster. That means she was never married, and oftentimes she was highly sought after because she would come in and she would help take care of the older people. Amazing. So they did very much take care of each other. You very rarely see a plain person in a nursing home. We do have Fairmont Nursing Home, which is a Black Bumper Mennonite nursing home, which is for the plainer people. But generally, the Amish take care of their older generation at home. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and make the hobo dinner. It's very simple and easy, and let me show you how we put it together. All right, so I'm gonna mix this up a little bit different. It does not call for peas, but I believe that when you make a food, you should have all the different colors of the different food. And I believe green vegetables is very important to have. Otherwise, this would be a very bland type of meal. So I am gonna mix the peas in with the cream soups. Now I am making a double portion, so I'm actually gonna be using 2 cans of cream soup. And yes, you can make cream soup by hand, but I'm doing this the way that I was raised, and this is generally how we cook. But you can make this, and I have recipes on that. So we're gonna add the canned soup. Now one is a chicken and one is a mushroom. I interchange them. For me, I just interchange them. Make sure you wash the lids when you are before you open up your cans, because the lids probably are dusty from the grocery store. All right, now we're gonna add my cheese sauce to this. This is home canned. I do a lot of canning of the cheese sauce, so I have many videos on it. So we are going to use both jars because I am doing a double recipe. Now I am varying from the original recipe a little bit. So when you see the original recipe, mine will be a little bit different. I'm gonna give just a slight disclaimer. I'm very shushlik. So when you see me cooking, that's generally how we are when we cook. We just put everything together, and shushlik means that I'm just really in a hastily paced. In other words, I'm really quickly doing stuff. That's just how I always have been. That's just how I was kind of raised. Now my mom was very particular, but my bloodline, I think, is a little more like this. So we're gonna mix this all together, and then I'll show you what we do next. Now I am omitting the onions. All right, so we have 2 dishes because I'm doing it for 2 different meals. So the first thing we're going to do is line the bottom of our pan with ground beef. So we're gonna use our glass dishes here. These were my mother's. Or you can make one big casserole, but I'm making this for 2 different meals. So we're just going to spread the meat out among both. All right, and then we're just gonna pat it into place. And let me go wash my hands quickly, and then we're gonna go ahead and put the sliced potato next. Potatoes, if you are cutting potatoes up the day ahead, you must soak it in cold water to keep them from turning brown. Staple. So we're just gonna go ahead and fill this up with the potatoes. All right, Now once this melts, then it's going to get more liquid. All right, so this is what it looks like, and then it says bake at 350 for 1 hour. It doesn't say about covering it, but I will cover the casserole that has the cover on it. All right, the dishes are washed. Now it's time to try our meal. Doesn't that look good? I'll show you outside where the lighting is better. Let's go outside and give it a try. That is really, really good. That is a win-win meal. Kind of reminds you of shipwreck. Kinda, but it's so much easier. There you go, everyone. I hope you give it a try. See you guys again tomorrow. Bye, everybody. Hi, everybody. It's me, Homesteadtessie, coming to you with this product review, and that is the set of bandanas. I am wearing the black. I like to color coordinate all of my bandanas with my outfits. These are very brightly colored. We have all colors. We have browns and greens and purples and really bright orange and red and pink. So we have all of these colors. What I like about them is they're very cooling because they're made with cotton. So these are cotton ones, which are really nice. They wash nice. You can throw them in the dryer. They will not shrink. And I like them because they're solid. They will go with any and every outfit. And they're very brightly colored as well.